How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to explore another point on the map, Block Island. It's a beautiful little island located about 162 miles away from Montauk, and it's about 34 miles away from mainland Rhode Island. A lot of people don't realize, but Block Island, even though it's all the way out in the ocean, it's still part of Rhode Island. Now, there are a few ways to get here. You can take a ferry from Orient Point, Long Island, or from Montauk, also New England, Connecticut, or Rhode Island. At this point, you can only take your car in there from the Rhode Island side. The rest of the ferries you pretty much go on foot as a passenger. But there are plenty of options to rent a bicycle, moped, or even a car on the island, so you do have your options to get around here. We rented a moped, and it was definitely a fun getting around there on the moped. And they give you this little bracelet so people don't serve you drinks at the bars and restaurants, which is pretty responsible. But it does take a while to get used to mopeds because the balancing is slightly different, even like in the than in the motorcycle and the bicycle. And you also, the fact that you also have a passenger in the back makes it a little different. But what we're gonna do today, we're gonna go around the island and we go from a lighthouse to a lighthouse. So we're gonna start on the north side, and we're gonna end our trip by the south side one. And this is the very first lighthouse. This location was built in 1829. The current structure is actually the fourth lighthouse that was built here, and that was built in about 1867, and it was deactivated in 1973. Down the road from the north side lighthouse is the Sacred Labyrinth. And you can stop by here on the way to the lighthouse or on the way back like we did. And you could either try to solve the puzzle and walk the labyrinth, or you could just enjoy and take a little break from your everyday life and enjoy this peaceful place. As you walk up the trail, you will see this beautiful meadow, and there are benches on the left side and some chairs. But you also have, which I'm not going to be able to show here, I apologize. If you look to the right, there's going to be a view of the lighthouse and the water. Just you can see a little bit from there. This is certainly a very peaceful place. You can just come here. You don't have to walk the labyrinth itself. You can just sit in the benches or enjoy the views. It's a great way to unplug for your everyday life, that's for sure. Right across from a Sacred Labyrinth is the Atwood Overlook. We didn't get to climb up because it was a little hot, and we just figured we'll save the energy for the other destination we actually had planned for today, but it's probably a nice place to kind of enjoy as well. We're still on the north side of the island, and we're going to stop by for lunch at the Ore Marina and the restaurant. As you probably already noticed, there were a lot of mopeds in the parking lot, and I see a lot of e-bikes and regular bicycles as well. I think Ore is probably an awesome place to see some sunsets here. I can only imagine what it's like, but it's right overlooking the water. So we're going to sit on the other side in the shade, where it's a little hot still outside, and we're going to be overlooking the water. Look how clear the water is. It's just stunning. It's beautiful. Feels like we're somewhere else, not just 160 miles away from Long Island. Feels like you're on some tropical vacation island. And this island is only a ferry ride away from Long Island, New England, or mainland Rhode Island. We did not have to get on a plane to get here, which is pretty amazing. And you get those beautiful nature views and the beautiful views of the harbor. Now you're probably wondering, how did Block Island got its name? Well, it was named after Adrian Block, who was a Dutch navigator who rediscovered Block Island in 1614. And in 1661 and 64, there were 16 families from English colony in Massachusetts who settled here. And later on, this island became part of English colony of Rhode Island. One very important rule on Block Island: you cannot take your moped on a dirt road. A few miles down from the Ore restaurant is the Fresh Pond, and according to this stone here, the original settlers lived here, and this was the site of the first church in 1772. distance there, I know it's pretty hard to see, is the Block Island Airport. Just down the road from the Fresh Pond and the airport is another attraction, Painted Rock. This rock gets repainted almost every other week. And this whole tradition started in 1962 by two teenagers who decided to pull a Halloween prank and paint the rock. They probably didn't think at the time that this will become almost a 50-year-old tradition for the island. And the top of the rock is another road that goes to the beach, but we're not gonna stop here, plus we can't take the moped here. We're gonna go to Mohegan Bluffs. The first time you see Mohegan Bluffs, honestly, you just become speechless because it was so amazing. Even though there is, I'm gonna give you a warning right away. The staircase is relatively long, and I'm talking about long. There's a lot of steps to it, but I think the walk up and down definitely worth it. You have a lot of beautiful views from the top, but I think as you come down, then you get to experience this place, this magical place, which I have not seen on the shores of Long Island, New Jersey, or Connecticut. So it's truly, I think, a very mysterious and beautiful place. To me, it looks like you are somewhere in Hawaii or one of those tropical places. I know the camera doesn't really do justice here, but the water is actually clearer and greener than it is by us on Long Island. And as the more you come down the stairs, the more you kind of submerge into this beauty here. And it's just stunning. It's kind of hard to describe in words, honestly. You have to see it for yourself. But it's something I have not experienced before. That's for sure. So I'm glad we saved some energy for this walk, because I'm sure it's not that challenging coming down, but when you come up, I'm sure it's going to be pretty challenging. There are parts of the trail, there's actually signs basically warning you that's a very extraneous walk up. We got to the bluffs in the afternoon, so the tide is pretty high. There's not much beach left, so I might not be able to film down there because I didn't bring my waterproof case for the camera. Probably a lot of splashing down there. I just learned a very interesting fact. So apparently there's this clay on the beach that you can put in your body, and it's really good for your skin. That's why you might see a lot of people taking advantage of that clay. This place is just keeps amazing me, honestly. It's there's just so much more to discover. I wish we could walk through the whole beach, but again, unfortunately, the tide was a little high. So we're gonna go back up because we have a couple more stops till the end of the day. So we're gonna try and make it. And one thing I would say, the staircase is take your time, and there's this stops in the middle of the staircase, so you can always stop and turn around and enjoy the view. You don't have to do the whole thing in one shot, and it's a lot easier and more enjoyable, I think, to do it in just like increments, like to walk and stop here and there. So we're at our next stop of the day, which is the South Side Lighthouse. Now it is slightly different from the one on the north side. Even the north side one does have a little museum inside of it. This one has a museum, and you could actually go into the tower and go up. We're not gonna go up the stairs today because we got a little bit short of time, but we're just gonna walk in here and explore, see what they have inside the lighthouse and how basic things are displayed here. Both of the lighthouses are well restored and well maintained, so it's definitely it's definitely great places to visit, and you get those beautiful views like a lot of those coastal places here on Block Island. At this point, we're back at the main town where our journey started today. So here in the distance, you see the statue of Rebecca at the well that was placed by a local women's Christian movement in 1896. first glance, this town definitely looks like any other beach town, but when you actually walk around and explore a little more, you see its own charms. It has its own history, it has its own character here, so it is a little different. Just like the most towns you would go to, it does have a main street, and there's stores and restaurants along it, and there are great places to get ice cream. I definitely enjoy my ice cream here, and there are, I think I counted about 5 of them around the town, so you gotta, I guess I have, there's no way I could have tried all of them in one shot, but I tried one of them next to a moped rental, and it was pretty good. Most of the buildings in this town look pretty historic. I don't think I've seen any new construction here, but I could be wrong. So the whole vibe of this town is so relaxing and it's so pleasant. Everybody's happy and smiling. It's just amazing atmosphere, honestly. It's like you walk through here and it's like you feel very relaxed. It's kind of hard to find the right words, but yeah, it's amazing. So if we look to the right here, we're gonna see a Harborside Inn, which unfortunately was burned down after this video was filmed.
But first tonight, we continue tracking the devastating fire on Block Island, destroying the Harborside Inn. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Sheena Loshudo. The hotel is located right on Water Street, and it really is one of the first things you see coming off of the ferry. Several businesses were also impacted.
I think it's very sad when you see historic landmarks like this being damaged by the fire, but I'm hopeful that it will be restored and will reopen again at some point. Down there on the right, there's some more gift shops, and they can buy a lot of interesting things, I bet. But unfortunately, we are a little short in time because we do have to take a 4:55 ferry back. So, and we don't want to be late to that ferry because that's the last one actually that runs on a Wednesday in August. So if you're late to that ferry, you're gonna have to stay on the island. Which I think next time we're gonna try to stay over because I think you get to explore more. You're not rushed. What I heard in the weekends, they have later ferries, so it's but it does get busy on the island too. So at this point, we're gonna be heading back, and this is definitely not a goodbye, Block Island. We'll be back at some point in the future to explore more this magical, amazing place. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and until next time.